What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday, and today's video is a continuation from a video I posted 2 weeks ago. It is going to be Density Training 2 on Peloton with Andy Speer, weeks 3 and 4. I already posted taking weeks 1 and 2, and I absolutely loved it. I loved Andy Speer's first density training program, so when the second one came out, I knew I had to take it right away. And yeah, we're having a good time. We're getting into week 3 today, and today is Monday morning. I wrapped up week 2 last Thursday, so I've had many days of rest, but we're ready to get back on into it. We gotta, amp up the weight a little bit today, try to amp up the volume too. Today's class is a 30-minute density training, week 3, day 1, tagged intermediate by Andy Speer from June 21st, 2024. The description is, it's week 3, baby. Keep the momentum going and get ready to rep it out in this 30-minute full body workout. And every week is the same, so I know the moves, I know what weights I need to use, and I'm really ready to bring it this Monday morning. So let's go to the gym, hit the bench, and knock out week 3, day 1. I think I might be density training a little too close to the sun here, which the point of this program is to keep going up in weight, but today I went up in weight in both of the AMRAPs, and I hit the rounds that I'm supposed to go up weight again next week, and I honestly can't imagine going up in weight. So that is next week's problem. We'll see when we get there. But this week was a good week. It does feel good to hit the rounds and push weight. I did some moves that I've never done before with like heavy weights, so that is cool. But it's also scary. This was already a really hard workout. I can't imagine going up even more. So we had our 2-minute body weight warm up, and then we got into our first AMRAP, which is 6 incline bench dumbbell chest presses, and then 6 dumbbell cleans. In both week 1 and week 2 day 1s, I used 25 pounds for both moves. Week 1, I did 7 rounds. Week 2, I did 8 rounds. So that was like the marker that I need to go up in weight. So I'm really not confident in going up in my chest press weight. The 25 pounds felt awful week 1 and felt still pretty bad in week 2. So I knew that I wanted to go up in the cleans. So today I did 25 pounds chest presses and 30 pounds cleans. And the chest presses did feel a little bit better. The cleans definitely felt hard, but I got through 8 rounds, which I am very proud of. But where do we go from here? I am not sure I want to push weight in either of these next week, but we'll see when we get there. I do think that it is a little bit easier to have different weights for the chest presses and the cleans, because the past 2 weeks I was basically always holding the weights. Like the only time that I ever wasn't holding the weights is when I was sitting down to do the chest press, and I would set them on my legs. Besides that, I was sitting up and down with the weights, versus this week I thought I would do less rounds because obviously the weight is heavier, but I actually think I got a little more recovery, because after the chest presses, I'd put down the weights, then I'd stand up, take a second, and then pick up the dumbbell cleans and do those. So if you are kind of on the edge, if you think you should push weights, if you're doing the same weights for both, I would encourage pushing one of them just to get that little recovery in between the sets. But it was a good workout. It was definitely very hard. Heart rate was spiking. Then the next AMRAP was 6 reps of a split squat elevated. So you had your back foot on the bench, and you did 6 on one side, 6 on the other side, and then you did a 3-point row. So you had one leg on the floor and then your knee and one arm on the bench, and we're just rowing one side, and you did 6 on either side. So this was a little bit longer of a set. You had 24 reps instead of 12. And the past 2 weeks, I did 20 pounds for the split squats and 25 pounds for the rows. And honestly, I was going to do that again, but Andy really was hyping up going up in the row weight. I was supposed to go up because I had done 7 rounds last week, and that again was the marker to go up. So I was like, I don't know, I'm like kind of tired from the first AMRAP, but Andy was really like, we should be pushing rows, like because you have so much support with the 3-point contact, like, yeah, you should be pushing your row weight. I've never done 30-pound rows before, I can say that confidently, but we did them today. So I stayed with the 20-pound split squat because honestly, the 20-pound split squats feel still very rough for me. Like I'm making it through it, but I honestly cannot imagine 25-pound split squats. But I'm like, you know, the 25-pound rows are hard, but I can push myself. So we went up on the rows and I did 6 rounds, and man, oh man, I was like so out of it. I was grunting, but we got through it. And 6 rounds again is the number that you're supposed to push weight next week. And again, I cannot imagine pushing weight on these rows or split squats. But again, that is next week's problem. So we'll see what I do week 4. Also, the free weights in my gym only go up to 30 pounds. So it's like I could stack like a 5-pound weight on the 30 pounds, but it does get more difficult after going up 30 pounds. And also like today was the first day I've ever done 30-pound rows. Honestly, it might be the first day I've ever done 30-pound dumbbell cleans. So I'm not super jazzed about going up in those, but the other ones also sound hard. So we'll see next week. I am very proud of, you know, what I accomplished today. It does show that I like could potentially go up, but yeah, today was very, very hard. For difficulty, I would give it like a 9 to 9.5 out of 10. There were definitely moments I wanted to give up, but I'm like, no, we got to get through it. We got to push these rounds. Enjoyability, I would give like a 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I do feel like it's getting to the point where it's so hard that it's a little less enjoyable, but it is cool to see myself push my weight on these moves that I've never pushed weight on in the past. So it does feel very rewarding, especially after the fact. I'm like, wow, I did that. But during it, I was really, really pushing myself. So a good way to kick off week 3. And yeah, we'll see how the rest of the week goes. It is now the next day and we're gonna go right on into the second class of this week. You're supposed to take a rest day between the first day and second day, but this is all arms and core, so I feel like it's not as intense as the full body yesterday, and taking the class today just fits in my schedule a lot better. So today we're going to be doing the 30-minute density training, week 3, day 3, tagged intermediate by Andy Speer from June 21st, 2024. The description is, the effort doesn't stop here. Andy takes you through this accessory-based workout with more time added to your core section. And yeah, we've like been building up a core section, but it really hasn't been that bad so far, so I'm feeling pretty positive. And I don't have to push weight on the arm AMRAP because I didn't do enough rounds last week. So, you know, I still expect to work hard in this class, but maybe not as hard as yesterday. So let's go to the gym, hit the bench, and knock out week 3, day 3. Another good class. The second class definitely feels a little bit easier than the first and third, which no complaints, but we were definitely still working. It wasn't an easy class. I just feel like when you work out your arms, like your heart rate doesn't spike as much, so it does feel a little bit easier. So we had the 2-minute body weight warm up, and then we got into the first AMRAP, which is a complete arm set. So we did 6 bicep curls sitting, 6 shoulder presses sitting on the bench, and then lean back 6 incline skull crushers, and then standing up 8 reverse flies. I use 15 pounds for all of those moves. That's what I've been doing from the beginning. Andy does kind of say that you should be using lighter weights for reverse flies, but for me, like 10 would be way too easy. Like I would definitely hit the round goal and then I'd have to go up in weight. So 15 pounds is the right weight for me. I did see a little bit of reverse progress today though. So I only did 6 complete rounds. And in week 1, day 3, I also did 6 rounds. In week 2, day 3, I did 6 1/4. So I was a little bit slower today. I did kind of realize that I was going to like be slow / I needed to pick up the weight probably around halfway through. And I really did try, but I just like can't do these moves that fast. Like I wasn't taking that much recovery, but I just feel like the moves take me a while. But I still feel like it's a good workout. I'm happy with it. And honestly, I can't really imagine myself pushing weight on any of these moves. So we'll be doing 15 pounds again for the next week. I think it is okay to like, you know, not see progress in every single AMRAP. That is unrealistic. So I was still happy with today, still a good arm workout. And then we got into our core AMRAP, and this was the first week that we actually did the full 10 minutes. In the past 2 weeks, we had like had some rest that Andy had given us, which I feel like I didn't need. Like I'm not ever going to complain about rest, but with the 10-minute AMRAP, like obviously you just take the rest yourself. So I'm fine doing the 10-minute AMRAP, but we did 8 single leg V-ups, 4 on each side, 8 Russian twists, and then 8 hip bridges. And the Russian twists and hip bridges, we used our curl weight, so a 15-pound dumbbell. And I did 9 rounds of that. I can't really compare it to last week, but last week we did, I think like 4.5 minutes, 1 minute rest, and then 4.5 minutes again. And I did 8 rounds. So I do see like a little bit of improvement, I guess. I like used my own recovery and could do 1 more round, but I am pretty proud of myself. Core is definitely not my favorite. A 10-minute AMRAP core section does sound like something I would not like, but I honestly don't think that these moves are that bad. And Andy really does kind of pat himself on the back because he's like, yeah, I feel like the core section's like programmed really well, that each move like uses a different muscle. So then you feel like you're pretty refreshed by the time you get to the top of the set again. And I agree with that. I feel like it is a like pretty balanced core section. I mean, I do really like hip bridges, so that helps out. The single leg V-ups are not the worst. The Russian twists are probably my least favorite, but you know, we get through them. And then the class is over. Today was a super fast one. I mean, they're all super fast. It's literally just 2 10-minute AMRAPs and then you're done. For enjoyability, I would give today like a 7 out of 10. I mean, it is kind of a bummer to not at least match what I did last week. A quarter round is like pretty much nothing, but yeah, next week I gotta bring the intensity, try to match it. And then yeah, core is still not my favorite, but we got through it. And difficulty, I would also give like a 7 out of 10. I feel like, yeah, arms and core just like don't feel as difficult to me as full body, even though you're still working hard. But it was a good class. Ready for my recovery day tomorrow before we wrap up the week on Thursday. It is now Thursday morning. It's 2 days later. We got a nice rest from strength yesterday. And now I'm ready to tackle the last class of the week, which is a 30-minute density training, week 3, day 5, tagged intermediate by Andy Speer from June 21st, 2024. And the description is, hit your rep blocks with more intensity and leave it all on the floor in your final class of week 3. And I do like the last classes the most. Like those are my favorite moves, but I do know I need to push some weight today, which is always scary. Always means it's going to be a little bit harder than last week, but that's the point of this program. So let's go to the gym, hit the bench, and knock out this final class of week 3. Another good class, but definitely another hard class. Really pushed the weight today, which definitely added to the difficulty. So we had the 2-minute bodyweight warm-up, no complaints there. And then we got into the first AMRAP, which is 6 push presses and then 6 deadlifts. And the first week I had done 20 pounds push presses, 25 deadlifts, did 12 rounds. That was way too many rounds. The next week I was like, okay, I can definitely push to 30 pounds for the deadlifts. Honestly, I should have always pushed to that from the beginning. And I still did 10.5 rounds. So it was too light. So I knew the next step was to push the push presses, but I have never done 25-pound push presses in my life before. So I was very, very nervous, but I knew I had to do it today. I don't have weights over 30 pounds, so it's going to be hard to push the deadlifts. And honestly, the 20-pound push presses were pretty easy. Like I could do them pretty quickly. But yeah, the 25-pound push presses were definitely making it a lot harder. I went a lot slower. So I did 25-pound push presses, 30-pound deadlifts, and I did 7 rounds today, which I am happy with, but I feel like I do not need to progress weight next week. I can just stick with these weights. The 25-pound push presses almost felt better and worse than expected. At the beginning, it actually didn't feel horrible, but I definitely was getting a lot of fatigue at the end. I definitely had to take a lot of rest. Like, if you think about it, this is only 12 reps and I can do the deadlifts pretty fast still. And honestly, I can do the push presses like fairly quickly. So the fact that I'm only doing 7 rounds, like a lot of recovery in between rounds. But that seemed to be what Andy wanted. Like, he's like, if you're doing like 10 rounds, that's way too many and you need to be going way higher in weight. So definitely a big push for me today. I am a little concerned about if my lower back is going to hurt tomorrow. I did feel a little bit of flaring at the end. Obviously, I tried to not flare my ribs as much as possible, but 25 pounds was a big push. But I am proud of myself for pushing the weight. And then the next AMRAP was 6 rows on an incline bench on your chest and stomach, and then 6 reverse lunges on one side and 6 reverse lunges on the other side. And last week I had done 25 pounds for the rows, 20 pounds for the reverse lunges, and had done 7.66 rounds. But the caveat is last week someone was using the bench in my gym, so I did not use the bench. I just did normal reverse rows. And Andy says that the bench rows should be easier because you're getting more support. And I do agree with that. They do feel easier, but I find that it takes me way longer to get into the correct position. Especially at the beginning, I was losing a lot of time with that. Usually with splits, like I'll go faster in the first half and then I'll go slower because I'm tired. Well, in this split, I went slower in the first half because there was just like a lot of adjusting, a lot of trying to figure out how to pick up the weights correctly, like while I was on this bench. And I got more into the groove in the second half. So I only did 7 rounds today, staying at the same weight, the 25-pound rows, 20-pound lunges. And I'm happy with that. Like, no complaints. I think next week I can try to go a little bit faster. Hopefully I can get the bench again and be a little more comfortable there. And it was still a workout. Even 20 pounds with the lunges, because they're racked up, is hard. Like, usually I would do 25 pounds for reverse lunges, but having them racked up really adds some difficulty. So it was still a push, even though that this seems like kind of lower weight than what I've been pushing in previous classes. So I'm still happy. The reverse rows are so interesting. I do enjoy them. I think they're fun in the moment, but my biggest issue now is I know like what position I want to be in, but where I put the weights, where I want to be able to put the weights down so I can pick them up while I'm already in position, there's like a bar from my bench. So if I put them behind that, it's like hard to pick them up. And if I put them in front of it, then I am too far off the ground and it's hard for me to reach. So I still kind of need to figure out what is the best way to like set it up. I tried one time picking up the weights and then get on the bench, and that was not the move. For enjoyability, I would give this class like a 8.5 out of 10. I do like the moves. It was a little hard today. I don't know how enjoyable the push presses were in the moment, but it was enjoyable to like see the progress and be like, wow, like I've never done 25-pound push presses before. So it is cool to like see myself push that weight. And I feel like the rows keep it interesting, although I was definitely struggling with where to put my weights this time. And difficulty, I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I think it was pretty difficult today. The only like savior is there was a lot of recovery, which was good. But when we were working, we were like really, really pushing the weight. So I don't know. I definitely think that the day 5 classes are my favorite classes in terms of moves. So it was a good class overall, a good way to wrap up week 3. I can't believe we're already done with week 3 and we're going to be going into the final week next week. But first I get a couple of rest days. It's now the following Monday. We had several days of rest and lots of pickleball, but now we are ready to finally start week 4, the last week in the program. I can't believe we're already here. And today we're kicking it off with a 30-minute density training, week 4, day 1, timed intermediate from June 21st, 2024. And the description is, can you up the weight and hit your rep blocks with more intensity in this final week of training? And I'm a little nervous. I haven't decided what I want to do yet because I should be going up in the first AMRAP, but I honestly can't imagine going up in the first AMRAP. So we'll see how today goes, but I'm sure it's going to be a fun class no matter what. So let's go to the gym, hit the bench, and knock out the final day 1 of this program. That was another great class, a good way to kick off week 4, and I feel like a pretty good way to wrap the day 1s in this class. So the class started off, we did the 2-minute bodyweight warm-up, and Andy is like, if you did 8 rounds in the first AMRAP last time, you need to go up in weight. And if you did 6 rounds in the second AMRAP, you also need to go up in weight in that one. And that's what I did last time. I didn't realize I was supposed to go up in weight in the second one as well. But somehow my gym just got more heavy weights. So before I could only go up to 30 pounds, and there was just like a huge rack of weights that go up to 50 pounds now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because I've been kind of like hitting the 30-pound limit recently, where I'm like, I could potentially want to go up more, but there's like no weight to do that. So I can't believe I got incredibly lucky. I like did not know that my gym was getting this. So that was a very nice surprise. So at first, the first AMRAP is 6 incline chest presses and 6 dumbbell cleans. And I was doing 25 pounds chest presses and 30-pound cleans last week. And I was like, oh, I can go up to 35-pound for the dumbbell cleans, because I do not feel like I can go up in the chest presses. Like 25-pound chest presses is already a huge push for me. And I'm like proud of myself for doing that. But like, we're not going up to 30-pound chest presses today. So in the like warm up before the AMRAP started, when we're just practicing the moves, I did try to do a 35-pound dumbbell clean just to see what it felt like. And it felt so horrible. I feel like I need to just start doing like normal deadlifts with 35 pounds and get used to that weight, because I've never even held a 35-pound dumbbell before. And dumbbell cleans are definitely like a move that I can go heavier on. But I just feel like this was not the move to like push up to 35 pounds for the first time. So I did end up not pushing weight at all in the first AMRAP. So I just did 25-pound incline chest presses, 30-pound dumbbell cleans. I did 8 rounds last week. I did 8.5 rounds this week. So a little bit of improvement. I am a little bummed that I couldn't go up in weight because I was supposed to, but I just feel like it was not realistic for me in this set. And then I made a deal with myself, and I'm like, because I'm not going up in the first set, I will definitely go up in the second set. So then the second set is 6 split squats where your back foot is on the bench on one side, 6 on the other side, and then 6 3-point rows. So your hand and knee are on the bench, and then your foot is on the ground, and you're rowing on one side, and then 6 on the other. And I've actually been progressing through like this AMRAP pretty well. I started out doing 20-pound split squats, 25-pound rows, and then I progressed last week up to a 30-pound row, which actually feels pretty good. I feel like if I was going to progress this further, I'd go and try a 35-pound row, because you do get a lot of support with the 3 points of contact. And today I was like, I'm finally ready to progress the split squat. 20 pounds for squats sounds light for me, but these split squats are really hard, man. I mean, I think split squats are really hard in general, and then the elevated foot makes it even harder. But I did go up to the 25-pound split squats and then stayed at the 30-pound rows, and I got 6 rounds again. So I maintained my speed while going up in the split squats, which I am extremely proud of. I like did not think that I was going to do that. I was like, oh, it's like, okay, if I get 5 rounds. But then I realized towards the end, I'm like, all right, as long as I like keep pushing at this rate, I'm going to get 6 rounds. So that was cool. And then that means like, yeah, if I retook this program, I should push weight more. I do think that the rows felt a lot easier than the split squat. So I would be interested in trying 35-pound rows in the future. And yeah, I'm just really excited that my gym even has that possibility. So it's like something that I can consider in the future, because I was really maxing out there for a second. And then the class was over. Definitely a hard one today. My heart rate was really, really skyrocketing, especially during the split squats. It was like 165. So good day, but a nice hard day. And I know I will come back tomorrow to take day 2. So, you know, gotta rest up today. I did stretch out, and I'm ready to tackle the rest of the week. Enjoyability, I would give this class like a 9 out of 10. I mean, it always does feel good to feel like you're progressing. Another thing is that those 25-pound chest presses were so hard for me at the beginning of this program. And I feel like I'm so much more comfortable doing them. Don't get me wrong, like towards the end of the set, I am getting really tired, but I do feel like my form's a lot better. I feel so much more confident doing them. So like that feels awesome. And then pushing up to the 25-pound split squats, just having 30-pound moves, like even doing 30-pound weights is a pretty new development for me. So yeah, it's cool. I feel like I made a lot of progress. It is very enjoyable to see the results after 4 weeks of hard work. Difficulty today, I would give like a 9 to 9.5 out of 10. I was definitely struggling, mostly the split squats, but you know, all of the like weights I'm using are pretty heavy for me. And you know, I'm trying to beat like what I've done for the past 3 weeks. So definitely a difficult class, but a really fun one. It's now the next day and I'm not gonna lie, my butt is a little bit sore. I think it's from going up weight on the split squats yesterday. That was really a doozy, but it's okay because the next day is all like core and arms. So I feel fine doing today's class. It's definitely the chillest out of the 3 days, although we're still gonna be working pretty hard today. So today is going to be the 30-minute density training week 4, day 3, tagged intermediate by Andy Speer from June 21st, 2024. The description is we put in the work and we're finishing strong. 1 more day of accessory work before our final class. And 1 AMRAP is core, so there's like no real weight to push. Like we do have weight, but I'm not gonna push it. And then the other AMRAP is arms, which I also don't need to push weight because I am very slow at it. So it should be a good day because I kind of know what to expect, but I do know it's still a good workout. So let's go to the gym, hit the bench, and knock out this final day 3 class. I was on fire today. I didn't go up in weight at all, but I beat both of the number of rounds I did last week. So feeling pretty good, definitely ending the day 3 classes on a high note, which is always nice. So we had our 2-minute bodyweight warm up and then we got into the first AMRAP, which is arms. And that is 6 bicep curls, 6 shoulder presses, both of those sitting on the bench. Then an inclined on the bench skull crusher, 6 of those, and finishing with 8 standing reverse flies. And this entire program, I've been doing 15 pounds for all of the moves. I feel like it's a good weight for the curls, the shoulder presses, and the skull crushers, and then kind of a push weight for the reverse flies, but I think 10 pounds would be way too easy. So I do think that's the right weight for me. And I have had a little trouble with this AMRAP. So the first week I did 6 rounds. The second, I did 6.25 rounds. The third week, I went back down to 6 rounds, but today I did 6.5. So although the progress was not linear over the program, I did make progress. And honestly, I don't know, I just feel like I'm so slow at arm moves. Like it did feel hard, and especially at the end, I was getting tired, but it wasn't like I was taking a ton of recovery. I'm just like slow at doing curls, which I think that is like because I'm pushing the weight. I don't know, but I was happy with these 6.5 rounds. And yeah, I feel like if I was gonna take this program again, I would honestly start there again. Really, no move feels that easy. The shoulder presses feel like a little bit easy at the beginning, but it catches up to me by the end. Andy was kind of pushing us to like try to go up to weight and then just make it a drop set if you need to go down. But I honestly feel like 15 pounds is still a big challenge for me. So I was happy with that AMRAP, and then we got into our second AMRAP, which is all core, and we did 8 single leg V-ups, 8 Russian twists with our curl weight, so 15 pounds, and then 8 hip bridges with the 15-pound weight. And Andy said to not push weight and just try to push rounds. Last week I did 9 rounds, and this week I was really going at it, really motivated for beating my first AMRAP, and I did 10 rounds, which I'm pretty proud of myself because I feel like adding a whole extra round is a lot, but I was feeling good today. I definitely do feel like even though we only do this 1 core AMRAP, that my core is getting stronger because I really do not do core regularly. So even a little bit has been helping me, and I see the improvement today. So today's AMRAPs were good, and then the class was over. Enjoyability, I'd give like an 8.5 out of 10. It's enjoyable to see progress. Arms and core are definitely not my favorite, but you know, the core section could be way worse. So I will end with that. Difficulty, I would give like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. You are really pushing yourself, but it's just not the same as doing the full body classes. Obviously, my heaviest weight is 15 pounds, while on the other days I'm using like 25 and 30. But it is nice and like it is important work to be doing. And doing 3 really, really heavy classes a week would be hard. So this is like a nice break. And now I am definitely ready for my recovery day tomorrow. It is now Thursday morning. We had a nice recovery day yesterday from strength, and now we're ready to get into the last day of density training. I can't believe we're already at the last day. It feels like I just started this program, but it also is like, wow, yeah, I've been doing this for 4 weeks and this is the culmination of it. So today we're doing the 30-minute density training week 4, day 5, tagged intermediate by Andy Speer from June 21st, 2024. And the description is, congrats on your dedication and a commitment to getting stronger. Time to celebrate those gains by giving it all you've got. And I think I have some pushing weight in my future today. You know, it's the last class, gotta go all out. And I'm excited. I like the last day moves the best. It should be a good workout. So let's go hit the bench and knock out the final class of density training 2. This was such a great wrap-up class for the entire program. And I was really on one. I was pushing the weight. I was doing a good amount of rounds. I was really, really pushing myself today, but it's the last class. So I'm like, you know, gotta give it my all. And I'm honestly kind of surprised with my results, but in a good way. So we started off, we had our 2-minute bodyweight warm up, and then we got into the first AMRAP, which is 6 suitcase deadlifts and 6 push presses. And last week I had gone up to the 25-pound push presses, which was a big step for me. Never done 25-pound push presses. And I did 30-pound deadlifts and I did 7 rounds. And I was like, you know what? Today's the day. We're going to use these new weights in my gym. We're going to go up to 35 pounds for the deadlifts. I feel like pretty comfortable going up to that weight, even though I've never done it before. I have done like bar deadlifts. So I have done weight heavier than 70 pounds combined, but not recently. So today I did the 35-pound deadlift, stayed at the 25-pound push presses, and I did 8.5 rounds. So not only did I go up 5 pounds in weight, I also did 1.5 more rounds than last week. I don't even have a reason for this. Like, I don't know. I was just going fast, feeling good. The push presses were definitely hard, and like even the 8.5 rounds, like I'm taking a lot of recovery. This is only 12 reps and I can knock out the push presses pretty fast. Like what I would do is I would take a larger recovery after the deadlifts and then try to do the push presses straight through rather than like taking any sort of break during the push presses, and then pretty much go right into the deadlifts again and then take a long break. And I feel like that worked well for me and I got an increase in rounds. So that's exciting. If I was going to take this program again, I honestly would consider pushing up to 40 pounds for the deadlifts. I'm very happy about the new weights in my gym. I feel like, you know, the world is my oyster again. I believe the weights go up to 50 pounds. So I really have some wiggle room on my deadlifts now. So I was feeling pumped up from that first AMRAP. And the second AMRAP is 6 rows where you're on an incline bench and like your chest is on the bench. And then you get up and you rack the weights and do 6 reverse lunges on one side and 6 reverse lunges on the other side. And last week I did 25 pounds for the rows and 20 pounds for the lunges. And that's actually what I've been doing this entire program. And I'm like, you know, today is the day. I'm going to push up to the 25-pound lunges. I knew I could do it, but the 20 pounds always just felt so hard. I feel like, especially after the first AMRAP and then the fact that you have to rack the weights. But I was like, today's the day, today's the last day, I need to do it. So I stayed with the 25 pounds on the rows. That feels pretty good to me. I think there is potential to push up to 30 if I repeat this program again. And then I did 25 pounds on the reverse lunges. Another thing is that since we got these new weights, we have repeats of 25 pounds, which is really nice. So I could leave one set up for the rows and one set for the reverse lunges, because I feel like it's hard to do the same weight if you only have one pair, because then you're gonna have to like constantly be readjusting and like picking up the row weights and then bringing them to the lunge area. Like, it was really nice to have 2 sets so I could really fly through it. And sometimes I feel like I get an awkward position on the incline bench on my chest, but not today. I was just like vibing. I got the weights in a good spot. I could get into position quickly. And I did 7 rounds, which is the same amount I did last week, but I went up 5 pounds on the lunges. So I'm very, very happy with that result as well. And it was hard. I was really pushing it. This one, I was also taking a decent amount of recovery, and I would just like literally zone out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I took like 30 seconds of recovery. But the lunges especially, my heart rate was like 170. It was so taxing. I just feel like rocking the weights makes it so much harder. So then the class was over, and I can't believe density training 2 is done. Enjoyability for this class, honestly, like 9.75 out of 10. I don't know what would make it better. You know, maybe if I like did even more rounds on the last AMRAP, but I pushed weight today. I either held or did more rounds than last week. I just feel like I saw a lot of progress, and I'm so proud of the weights that I'm lifting now. I feel like sometimes I like get in a rut with strength training where I don't really feel like I'm improving, but I definitely saw improvement over this program, and it just like feels awesome. And I'm so excited that I have heavier weights too now. Like, there's just so many more possibilities. Difficulty today, I would give like a 9 out of 10. I do like these moves, which helps, but yeah, man, I was going through it when I was doing these AMRAPs, really trying to push the rounds, really trying to push the weight. But again, very, very proud of myself. Overall, I absolutely love this program. I feel like you can tell I'm a huge fan of Andy's. I love density training. I might like density training 2 even more. I really like the incorporation of the bench, and I hope that Andy gets positive like feedback from this, and that he either does more bench classes or introduces even more gym equipment. I really love the Peloton strength classes, but I do feel like I'm still like a newbie with gym equipment. So any help that Andy gives me, I will take. And yeah, I highly, highly recommend this program. I'd love to take it again in the future. And yeah, if you've taken this program, like, what do you think? Let me know. Do you like density training 1 or 2 better? I am sad because I feel like there was a long gap between density 1 and 2, and now I'm ready for density training 3. So hope Andy is already working on it, even though he's probably not. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all my thoughts on this program. This was an extremely rewarding and hard program to take. And up next is definitely Rebecca Kennedy's new 3-day split. There's just been so much good strength content lately. And yeah, I just feel like I'm so excited. Peloton's coming out with so much great stuff. So let me know what strength programs you've taken recently. I would be curious. After Rebecca's, I'm gonna need some inspo. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.